10 True Disturbing Trucker and On the Road Scary Stories. Life on the road can be unpredictable. Truckers and long-haul drivers often encounter eerie sights and experiences that defy explanation. These 10 disturbing stories come from real-life drivers who have witnessed the unexplainable while navigating desolate highways, lonely truck stops, and fog-covered roads. If you're looking for something unsettling to listen to before sleep, these tales might just be what you're looking for. 1. The Shadow Passenger. A trucker named Dave was driving through Nevada on an overnight haul when he spotted something in his passenger seat through the corner of his eye. He glanced over and saw a shadowy figure sitting there, motionless. The figure didn't speak or move, and when Dave turned on the cabin light, it disappeared instantly. He spent the rest of his drive with the lights on, but an overwhelming feeling of being watched never left him. 2. The Man in the Ditch. Jake, a seasoned trucker, was driving through a dark, foggy stretch of road in Montana when he saw a man standing in a ditch on the side of the highway. The figure had sunken eyes, a gaping mouth, and a blank expression. As Jake passed, the figure turned its head impossibly fast, locking eyes with him. When he checked his mirror, the man was gone. The experience left Jake so shaken that he avoided that route for years. 3. The Phantom Hitchhiker. One driver, Mark, was cruising along Route 66 when he saw a woman in a white dress waving for a ride. He pulled over, but when he got out of the truck, she was gone. Thinking he had imagined it, he continued his drive until he looked in his rearview mirror and saw her sitting in the back of his truck. He slammed on the brakes and ran outside, but again, she was nowhere to be found. 4. The Truck Stop Stalker. A female trucker named Lisa stopped at a rest area late one night. She felt uneasy as soon as she pulled in. A man in a hooded sweatshirt stood near the entrance, staring at her. When she went inside, she could feel his eyes following her every move. She rushed back to her truck, locked the doors, and tried to sleep. Hours later, she woke up to scratching sounds at her door. She peeked out the window, but there was no one there, just deep scratch marks on the metal. 5. The Vanishing Convoy. A trucker traveling through the Arizona desert joined a convoy of 3 other truckers late one night. They chatted over CB radios for a while, and everything seemed normal. Then, out of nowhere, their voices cut off, and the trucks ahead of him suddenly faded into thin air. He slammed on the brakes, realizing he was alone in the middle of the highway. No tire marks, no debris, just an empty road. 6. The Crying Child. James was parked at a rest stop in the middle of nowhere, trying to get some sleep, when he heard a child crying outside his truck. He opened his door, expecting to see a lost kid, but the lot was empty. The crying grew louder and seemed to circle his truck. He started his engine and sped off. Later, he learned that the rest stop was rumored to be haunted by the ghost of a child who had gone missing decades ago. 7. The Woman on the Bridge. A driver named Carl was crossing a foggy bridge late at night when he saw a woman in a tattered dress standing at the edge. Thinking she was about to jump, he slowed down and rolled down his window to call out to her. The woman turned, revealing a hollow face with no eyes. In a flash, she vanished into the fog. The next day, Carl heard a local legend about a woman who had died on that bridge years ago. Sightings of her ghost were common among truckers. 8. The Unmarked Rest Stop. While driving through Tennessee, a trucker named Ron pulled into a small rest stop to use the restroom. It was oddly quiet, with no other vehicles or signs of life. When he came out of the restroom, his truck was gone. In a panic, he searched for it, but the entire rest stop itself seemed different. When he finally found his truck and got back on the road, he realized that particular rest stop didn't exist on any map. 9. The Handprint. A trucker was hauling goods through Texas when he stopped at an abandoned gas station to check his tires. When he got back inside his truck, he noticed a small, child-sized handprint on his windshield. Thinking it was just dirt, he wiped it away. Minutes later, the handprint reappeared inside the truck. He never stopped at an abandoned gas station again. 10. The Wrong Turn. A trucker named Steve was driving through a rural part of Kentucky when his GPS told him to take an unfamiliar road. He followed it, but soon realized the road was getting narrower, surrounded by dense woods. Suddenly, his truck shut off completely. When he stepped out to check the engine, he heard whispering all around him. With his flashlight, he saw shadowy figures standing in the trees, watching him. Terrified, he jumped back in his truck, and without explanation, the engine roared back to life. He sped out of there and never spoke of it again. The open road holds more mysteries than we can imagine. Truckers and travelers alike have reported countless eerie encounters, from ghostly apparitions to unexplained disappearances. Whether these stories are the result of exhaustion, imagination, or something truly supernatural remains unknown. But the next time you're driving through a lonely stretch of highway late at night, keep your eyes open. You never know what might be watching you.